digital art and music are more and more meshing together, and you see that as much in the musicians in the way that they have their stage designs, which are now almost 100% video driven, and you see it in visual arts on the digital side, where sound is a very important component of a lot of new media installations. So these two disciplines are merging on their own sides, and what we're trying to do is to make them all come together into this one big connection between sound and vision, and to give people this really unique experience where they're constantly being given the opportunity to excite these senses and to discover these things. My name is Alex Chetvertinsky, and I'm the curator for the visual arts portion of the Day for Night Festival. One of the things that we really try to push forward in the curation of the artists at Day for Night is the idea of people who can manipulate light. We have people who treat light almost as a sculptural medium, and others who use it in forms that are, let's say, using projection, but in ways that you wouldn't typically use projection. Others are using lighting fixtures, as you would see on a stage for a concert, but instead of trying to just illuminate somebody, they're making them move and animate and create sort of space with light. So the idea of using light to modify our perception of space is part of the DNA of the festival. So it's all designed for this space, which is an abandoned post office. It's called the Barbara Jordan Post Office, that was built, I think, in the 50s and is now decommissioned. And we're the first ones to use it for something else than a post facility. And so we have these very interesting, different kind of environments, very warehouse looking, but in the same time we have outdoor, indoor, and we're essentially giving artists this amazing playground. So we needed to engage with artists that were willing to create work that would fit this space. And we push that as far as we can to the point that we have artists that are also performing a musical performance inside of their own installations. So that's part of our effort to, little by little, make the interaction between the artists and musicians come really to a point where eventually we'll be able to book a headliner and pair him with an art headliner and say, you guys collaborate on something that will be only for Day for Night. I started as a traditional documentary filmmaker, and then I transitioned into creating visuals for concerts. So I was in the tour industry for a while, creating visuals for big acts such as Madonna or Beyonce. And it gave me an understanding of traditional media, but broken up in space, and essentially the idea that a screen no longer has to be your typical rectangle that we usually consume content on. And it opened my mind to the idea that media could be spatialized, could be transformed into real time. It could generate itself based on interaction, based on presence. And that's really what got me excited about this field, I'd say about 10 years ago. And since then, I've just been exploring this environment and developing my own practice. So the piece that I'm doing is called Blurware. And the reason it's called Blurware is because it's about the blurring between software and hardware. And it explores this realm that you get into when you're working on a computer on a piece of art or design, and you essentially enter into this communion almost with the computer, and you're just sort of, as long as it doesn't crash, you're in the zone with the computer. It almost becomes an extension of your body. But in the same time, there's something of a, I would almost say, a dream world around it, where the zone is something that you don't really know if it's you or the computer that's creating at that point, because you're using tools that have been designed in software that only work on a certain type of hardware. The piece is an excavator, which is the hard part, the hardware, and it's almost scary, it's very brutal, but then it's covered in pillows, which is the sort of software dreamy side. And it's almost this idea that when we create on computers, we're dreaming, and they're dreaming too, so we're dreaming together.